Hello everyone, welcome back to Think Outside the Board and the first edition of the Crowdfunding Roundup to cover games in November. I think it's actually the second edition to be published in November, but the first edition to cover games that are launched in November. And in this week's video, I'm going to be looking at the campaigns that launched between November the 1st and November the 7th. And I have 9 different campaigns to share with you today. So these are my picks for the best of the best that's out there launching and crowdfunding during this period. Now, as always, my videos are tabbed, so you can scroll over the play bar and go right to the content that you're looking for. And I also have links down in the description section to all of the individual campaigns. So if you're not sure where something is, just go down to the description section, click on the link, it will take you right to the campaign, and then you can look at it some more and decide if you want to back it. At the very end of the video, I will briefly mention all of the games that are new to my collection this period, as well as the games that I think I'll be covering next week. And the reason for me mentioning those is because I'm soon to be relaunching my teach and review videos and launching live streaming. So you can let me know in the comment section if any of those games new to my collection are games that you would like to have teach and review videos produced for or see live streamed. Now, we have 9 campaigns to get through today, so I'm going to try to keep this moving along fairly quickly. I will say before we start that when I talk about shipping over the course of this video, I'm always talking about the continental US. So if you're somewhere else in the world, you will want to adjust those shipping costs for your area. Okay, without any further ado, let's get started on the first of these campaigns, and this is for a game called Pocket Planet. Now, this campaign launched on November the 1st. We can see down here that it's going to run until November the 27th. This is a game that I wanted to show to you all because it's by an up-and-coming designer. It's a very small campaign. I don't think there's too much risk involved in this because this is mainly a print and play campaign, but it is by sort of an untested designer and an untested publisher, and his name is Frank Druitt. And also, coincidentally, because the funding goal for this is so low, it was a $42 funding goal, they're currently at $1,700. They actually have a multiplier right now of 40 times, which is unique to this situation because this funding goal is so tiny. So this is a space-themed solo card game featuring deck construction. We're going to take a look at this 2-minute video and then we'll come back and look at the pledges. Now, part of the reason that I wanted to show this campaign in this video to you is because I was impressed by the gameplay and the cards and by how simple it is and how kind of clever it is and how small it is, transportable, just a small, easy card game that you can play on the go wherever you are, and you just are kind of holding the cards in your hand and then reordering them as you take your turns. So, and also there's very little risk involved, right? Because this is a print and play, but there is a statement down here at the bottom from Frank Druitt about the fact that he is using AI images in this. So I know for a lot of people that is a non-starter, and so I wanted to let you know that. And I probably wouldn't be featuring this campaign knowing that it's using AI images if it was a bigger campaign or, you know, was using physical assets and things like that. But the fact that it's by a smaller kind of first-time designer and it's a print and play made me excuse that a little bit. And if you don't agree with it, that's cool. Just, you know, move on and don't look at this campaign any further. But there are two pledge levels for this. The first is the print and play edition. This is about $5, and because it is a print and play edition, there won't be any shipping, so that's just, you know, your cost for the game, right? Very low amount of money, very low risk. They do have one other pledge here, and this is called Print and Play plus your name on Mars. So this is just a higher pledge level if you want to help to support the designer more. So the only thing that's different about this pledge level, other than it costing $27 and you giving the designer more money to help, you know, kind of support their project here and support them, is this kind of cheeky promise that your name, he will write your name on Mars the next time he goes there, which is going to be never, probably, right? So it's just a cute little thing that's never really going to materialize. There's nothing more in the pledge. You're not getting any extras. It's just a pledge level for you to give the designer a little bit more money. So if you want to do that, cool. If not, just stick with the $5 print and play. And either way, the print and play files should be released to you in November 2023. And again, it is a first-time designer who is using AI. And the only reason that I'm including this is because I like to support first-time designers, and as a print and play, super low risk. From there, we're going to look at Calimala. It's probably worth taking a look over at Board Game Geek because this is a new version of Calimala. This is a game that has existed previously. And so I think it's always good to, you know, go and look and see what that entry is like over on Board Game Geek. So for this game, the original score here is a 7.2, which is a pretty good score. And the complexity of the game is a 2.79. So that's over the boundary into medium heavy, past medium light into medium heavy. Now, the other thing to make note of is that this is a game for 3 to 5 players, but in the new version, they've included a 2-player variant. I think that's pretty cool. There are a lot of games that people find hard to get played at 3 or more players. And so the games in my collection that only play 3 and up have big asterisks next to them, and they don't always get played as much as other games. So I like the fact that they're coming back with a 2-player variant for this one to allow you to play it at different player counts and hopefully play the game more often. So this original version was published in 2017. The new version will be coming out probably in 2024. We'll see that when we get to the delivery date. But it is designed by Fabio Lopano, who's best known for doing 3 Ring Circus, Autobahn, Merv the Heart of the Silk Road, Ragusa, and Zapotec. And the new version is being illustrated by Ian O'Toole, who's best known for Carnegie, The Gallerist, Kanban EV, Lisboa, and On Mars. Finally, this new version is being published by Alley Cat Games. They're best known for Autobahn, Chocolate Factory, Dice Hospital, Paper Dungeons, a dungeon scrawler game, and Tinner's Trail. So this is a worker placement game with some area control in it. We're going to take a look at the 2-minute video here, and then we'll go over the 3 pledges.
As cloth merchants of the wealthy Calimala Guild, you will vie for the power and control over the future of Florence. broker deals and gain prestige by delivering finished clothes to markets overseas, sponsoring statues in the city, and contributing to the construction of Greek churches. Promote your trusted family members into the Council of Calimala, triggering scoring and evaluation of prestige in the next area of the board. Plan ahead for upcoming scoring conditions and hire contractors to take advantage of open opportunities. This second edition of Calimala by award-winning designer Fabio Lopiano has been beautifully remastered with stunning art and graphic design from Jan O'Toole, extended gameplay, and deluxe components. This new edition of Calimala comes with Kickstarter exclusive intrigue expansion. Take control of one of Florence's historical merchant families, such as the Medici family, and benefit from unique player powers. With 4 new expansion actions, you can invest in banks to increase your control in cities, or commission artworks to boost your standing with the local churches. Align yourself with major political powers, the Holy Roman Empire or Catholic Church. Benefit from their contradiction policies, or try to play both sides and get the best of both worlds. Back today for Kickstarter exclusive content and be the first to own this beautiful deluxe edition of Calimala.
All right, so I didn't look at the stats here at the beginning, so let's do this now. Calimala launched on November the 6th. The campaign is going to run until November the 30th. They're at about 55,000 right now, which is pretty good when you compare it to this funding goal, and they're at a multiplier of about 3.5 times. Now, if we go down here and look at, well, I'm going to give you a look at the kind of the components and stuff. So what's in the box? There is a look at the game and the cards and these wooden pieces. What's in the box? Kickstarter. So in Kickstarter, you're going to be getting this intrigue expansion with your game and some component upgrades, including dual layer player boards. But these are for the Kickstarter edition. So that means if you are pledging the retail edition, this is the first level here, it's a $47 pledge. It's got $17 of shipping on it for $64 total. And that will not include any of the Kickstarter extras. For those, you want to pledge this deluxe edition. This is a $58 pledge, again with $17 in shipping for a total of $75. And that's going to include these Kickstarter extras. So that's the Intrigue expansion and the dual layer player boards. And there may be more component upgrades that are added in later from stretch goals, but that's all we know about right now. Now, if you go a little further down, there is a collector's edition. This is the biggest pledge they have, I think. I think this is just a retailer and group pledge tiers. So this is the biggest kind of pledge for a single person. $85, again, $17 in shipping, $102 total. And this is giving you the deluxe edition, so it will include the Intrigue expansion and the dual layer player boards, but then you're also getting these extras, which are a neoprene playmat and card sleeves. So these are figured into the collector's edition. Now, if we look down here in the add-ons, these are the items that are included in the collector's edition pledge, which can be added on separately if you only wanted, one of these two things and you didn't want to get both and you didn't want to go for the collector's edition. So as an add-on, the neoprene mat is $22 and the custom printed card sleeves are $15. Together, that is a $37 total. And when you pledge going from the deluxe to the collector's edition, you're going up $27. So essentially you are getting a $10 savings by getting these bundled together in that collector's edition. And finally, Calimala, all versions of it are planning to ship and deliver in September of 2024. From there, we're going to leave Kickstarter and we're going to go over to Gamefound for Chaos Cove by Martin Wallace. Now, this is not funded yet. It had a $17,000 funding goal. They're currently at $11,500, which is 66% funded, so about 2/3. But the one thing I will say is that most campaigns do 2/3 of their business in the first 48 hours and 1/3 of their business in the last 24 hours. So this is actually still on track to fund. And unless the publisher decides that they don't want to, continue with a campaign that's probably just going to fund, they could do that. They could shut it down and come back and relaunch later and hopefully do better. But if they were to do that, then no one who's pledged would be charged. And they may not do that. And they may decide that, just barely funding or funding, maybe as much as twice their funding goal is okay. So if they do that, then this will kind of complete. And I think if they leave it alone, it is going to fund. It's just not going to fund for a huge amount of money. But left to its own devices here, this campaign should generate enough funding to clear its funding goal. So this game is designed by Martin Wallace. Martin Wallace has designed a lot of games, some very heavy games, but kind of a smattering of things, a diversity of games. But his 5 most popular games are probably Age of Steam, Anno 1800, The Brass Games, A Few Acres of Snow, and London. And I also really like Australia, so I'll just throw that one in there as well. And then the art on this is by Alina Cassette and David Forrest. They are a married couple who together are known as Mr. Cuddington. And as a team, they have worked on The Brass Games, Charterstone, Radlands, Santorini, and Steampunk Rally. And then the publisher on this one is Ape Games, who have put out a few things. They're not the most well-known publisher in the world, but they've done enough things that I think you can feel safe backing with them. And their most well-known games are probably The Great Dinosaur Rush, Spirits of the Rice Paddy, and The Stygian Society. So we can see if we look over here that this campaign is going to run until November the 28th, assuming that they let this kind of run and fund. And this game was the first of the lot that we're looking at that actually launched on Tuesday of this week on November the 7th. And every game that we look at in the rest of this video was also a November the 7th launch. Okay, so this is a worker placement game. It uses things like chaining and multi-use cards. It looks to me like it's being targeted kind of as a family weight game, but there are enough mechanics going on that it's probably in the medium heavy range. So a good amount of mechanics and complexity, but still trying to kind of straddle that line between those kinds of mechanics and being family friendly. Let's take a look at the video. I think you'll kind of see more what's going on in that video. And then we'll come back and we'll look at the only pledge that's available. So there's not a lot of confusion to be had in this campaign. You're either just going to back this or you're not. And there is one add-on, and we'll take a look at that as well.
Cove is under attack by pirates and barbarians. Fortunately, it is filled with retired privateers that compete to cement their place in town lore. But they must cooperate, or the town will be overrun. If they're successful, they can celebrate by tapping a keg of rum or 2. Or 3. Martin Wallace, co-designer of the #1 board game in the world, and Moonga Invaders, is at his best with a highly interactive game. In the beginning, your resources are meager. You assemble your team, scour your stockpiles for supplies, and arm yourselves. It's a worker placement game, but with a major twist. In Chaos Cove, every hero has a unique ability. You heard that right. Our meeples are not homogeneous, and each location has a different effect. Who you place and where drives extraordinary interactions that position you to defeat the invaders. There's also another twist. 16 unique heroes, and in every game, everyone gets a chance to play each one of them. Now, what would a worker placement game be without resources? Every location offers a variety that help you win the game, and some heroes are particularly good at gathering them. Once you've completed your preparations, it's time to defend Chaos Cove. Players take turns trying to sink invading pirate ships or fight off barbarians. At the end of the game, the player who has contributed the most to the defense wins. So, do you have what it takes to become the protector of Chaos Cove? Or will you be responsible for its ruin? Back Chaos Cove from Martin Wallace for a chance to test your mettle against the invaders and other players. Fight for your right to a rum party!
Okay. Alright, so the single pledge level down here is this rum party tier. This is $55 with $19 in shipping, $74 total. There is one add-on down here, 35 metal coins. That is a $25 add-on, and you know they're obviously not included in this pledge level. So if you want those as well, you will need to add them on. And I don't think that they list a date here for the delivery of this. However, I've gone down into the comments and kind of looked around and things, and in one part they talk about once this campaign finishes running, it should be about 6 to 9 months until the games are distributed. So that means around August of 2024. But then in another area, they talk about the game hopefully being ready at Essen and then being delivered after Essen or around Essen, which would probably make it November 2024. So there's a little bit of discrepancy in there. So I think just to be safe, let's call it November 2024. Because if it's Essen's usually in October, and if they were going to be, you know, distributing games after Essen, it would probably be more November after they returned back from Essen. So we're just going to say November 2024 as the targeted delivery date for Chaos Cove by Martin Wallace, which is on Gamefound. And then we're back on Kickstarter for Kelp. This, again, was a November 7th launch. This campaign is going to run until December the 5th, so this is a fairly long campaign, and you'll have a good amount of time to consider backing this one. They're at 259,000 right now, which is, you know, about a 26 times multiplier. It's a fairly low funding goal. Now, this is designed by Carl Robinson, who's a first-time designer. It's being published by Wonderbow Games, who've published a few games, but nothing that is that well known. And I think probably their artist is kind of produced the most well-known games. He is Weberson Santiago, and he's worked on The Bloody Inn, Coup, Fuji, and Whirling Witchcraft. So this game is a 2-player asymmetric game. One of the players is going to be interacting with deck building mechanics, and the other player with dice and pool building mechanics. And so we'll take a look at this like 1.5 minute video, and then we'll go over the 3 pledges and some add-ons.
Beneath the glistening surface, an octopus hides in the kelp. Suddenly a blue-gray blur appears. The pajama shark, ready to attack. A fight for survival unfolds. Who will win? The shark or the octopus?
This is Kelp, Shark vs. Octopus, a 2-player game of hide and seek with totally different roles. Take the role of the shark, patrolling your territory, tracking down the elusive octopus. Or become the octopus, skillful in navigating the board with hidden moves, trying to survive. Both players will strive to enhance their skill set to be able to outwit their opponent. The shark plays with dice and uses currents to move, grows unlocking permanent powers to mitigate their luck, and can store energy to use powerful one-time abilities and new dice. The octopus plays with cards, learns new skills, and even lays sneaky traps for the shark. Or, if they're brave enough, they can attempt another risky winning strategy by trying to eat all the food that's available. Eventually, the hungry shark may attack, leading to the final confrontation. Will the shark triumph, or will the octopus flinch away, making the game even tighter for both players? Do you have the nerves and wits to play? Kelp, Shark vs. Octopus.
Now, if you're someone who's looking for two-player head-to-head games, I think this would be right up there. It looks really solid to me, and there just aren't that many two-player head-to-head games out there that are really, really good. Some of them are just kind of overly simple, and I don't know. This is definitely very compelling in terms of should I back this, because I think it looks like it's really good for that kind of game. Now, if we look over here at the pledge tiers, here we go. It outlines what's in the various pledge tiers, right? So you've got the standard edition here. This is a $49 pledge with $15 in shipping, $64. And then we've got this deluxe edition for $65, also $15 shipping, $80 total, so $16 more. So the question is, what are you getting in that deluxe edition? Well, they've outlined it right here. So you're getting a deluxe embossed boss, an octopus miniature, metal coin for hand size, embroidered bags, and translucent dice. And we can see all of these things down here. You've got the bags, the dice, the octopus, this coin, and the embossed box. There's also a deluxe bundle. If we go down a little bit further, and this is the final pledge level here, it is $73, also with $15 in shipping, $88 total. So in this pledge tier, you're getting the deluxe game, and then you're getting the Brilliant Behaviors mini expansion set, which is included in this pledge level. Now, there are some add-ons. If we go down a little bit further, there's a dice tray that you can add on for $6. There is this New Pursuits mini expansion, which is not included in any of the pledge levels. So if this is something that you want, you need to add this on. This is a $7 add-on. And then down here, we can see that Brilliant Behaviors expansion set. This is $17 as an add-on, and this is the thing that is coming included in the deluxe bundle, the highest pledge tier. Now, if we look over here, we can see that Kelp is planning to deliver in October of 2024. So, leaving Kelp, we're going back to Gamefound for Perseverance Castaway Chronicles episodes 3 and 4. And this campaign has $442,000 in their coffers right now, which is like a 2.5 time multiplier because they had a very big funding goal. This does not make them the richest campaign of the video. There is one campaign that we'll look at later that's actually doing even better than this. But this campaign will run until November the 24th, and like all of the campaigns that we're talking about now in this section of the video, it was a November 7th launch. So, Perseverance Castaway Chronicles is being published by Mindclash. They're one of my favorite publishers, and they generally make very heavy, very pretty well-produced games. They're best known for Anachrony, Cerebria, Perseverance Castaway Chronicles episodes 1 and 2, Septima, which is delivering right now, and Tricarion. And it's got 4 different designers on these 2 new episodes. Richard Amon and Victor Peter, who are the 2 main guys over at Mindclash, and they design most of the games. Thomas Van Ginst, who's worked on Dragon's Gate College and Yedo Deluxe Master Set. And then David Turksey, who works with Mindclash quite a bit. He worked on Anachrony with them. He also has designed Imperium Classics and Legends, Kitchen Rush, Tekenyu, Obelisk of the Sun, and then Mindclash published his game Voidfall very recently, which was a co-design between him and Nigel Buckle, but it was just the 2 of them. So Richard Amon and Victor Peter did not work on Voidfall as a designer. They just published the game. Okay, so I think we should go and look at the first 2 episodes over here on Board Game Geek so you can get a look at that. So this was a campaign that ran a couple of years ago. It's been delivered. I actually haven't played it yet, although I'm very excited to play it. And it takes place on a desert island where some survivors have washed up. And there's 2 episodes, 2 entirely separate games in this. So the first episode, you're kind of trying to build up this village, and you're being onslaughted by dinosaurs that live on this island. So it's kind of a tower defense game where you're trying to just keep the dinosaurs back. Then there's a second game, episode 2, where you've successfully dealt with the dinosaurs, you've established your camp, and now you're going out and exploring the rest of the island and looking for resources and supplies and things like that. And you can play these games in a campaign style, with one game leading into the next. Now, it's got a 7.8 on Board Game Geek, which is pretty high. I think the reason it's not higher is, look at this complexity. This is a 4.26. Anything over 3.33 is heavy. And it's pretty rare that you see games listed in the 4s. So I think there's probably a pretty big barrier to entry here, and I imagine that not all of the people who try this game, because it's so heavy, it's to their liking, and so that could be dinging the score down. It's also for 1 to 4 players, so you can play it solo, and it's worker placement with dice workers, essentially, but the mechanics change somewhat from episode to episode, and the theme changes somewhat. So in these next 2 episodes, 3 and 4, and these are the last 2, so with this, the game is now complete. They're not going to be producing any more episodes. The third episode is sort of an engine and tableau builder, and in that game, you are taming and riding the dinosaurs. And then in the 4th episode, you have to face off against something called the Ancients, and you're preparing the husk of this hollowed out ocean liner that the kind of survivalist group has been finding a way to live in. You're kind of rebuilding that into a boat so that you can get off the island. So that's what's happening in the remaining 2 episodes. There is a 2-minute video here we're going to take a look at, and then we'll go over the 4 pledges and some add-ons. All right, this is what we want.
It's been 8 years since that mysterious storm washed us ashore on this strange island, which we eventually made our new home. We built a bustling town and a thriving community. We learned to adapt to the island and overcome its dangers. And as we began to understand the secrets of the ancient civilization that lived here long ago, the once fierce beasts have become part of our everyday lives. With their help, we are now able to expand and venture further into the unknown, to fully uncover the island's mystery, and finally, decide our fate. Episodes 3 and 4 continue the journey and bring the Perseverance saga to an epic conclusion. Each new episode is a distinct medium-heavy thematic Eurogame with its own identity and unique mechanisms. In episode 3, exert your influence over the city districts in a revamped and streamlined assembly system, and ask for the aid of the well-known officers by activating their perks as a secondary action. Expand the town further with the new landmarks that provide passive benefits, or build up your own ranch as a tableau of secondary actions to further customize your strategy. Embark on many new daring adventures for great rewards, and tame your captured dinosaurs to venture beyond the town, where the farthest reaches of the island await, with the promise of great discoveries and further expansion. Face new dangers in the wilderness, explore the abandoned temples of the ancients, and gather their mysterious artifacts, so the ferocious beasts of the island can eventually become your most loyal allies. Rally your troops, gather your followers, and with the final mystery revealed, prepare to finally leave the island. Or make a stand and face the cataclysmic return of the conquering ancients. Play episodes 3 and 4 as standalone games, or use the Chronicle mode to tie all the episodes together into a continuous epic saga. Pledge now for the exclusive deluxe box of Perseverance episodes 3 and 4, and be part of the grand finale.
Now, they have stated in this campaign below that episodes 3 and 4 are lighter, and I think they're trying to kind of pull things back and make this a little bit more family friendly. So, keeping in mind that the first 2 episodes are as heavy as they are, you could, if you wanted it to be more of a, kind of a family friendly game, you could try to pledge just for episodes 3 and 4 and just play those 2. However, there is this ability to play this as a storyline, and even if you're just playing episodes 3 and 4, you're kind of already starting out in this camp that's been built up. So personally, I like the idea of it being a campaign and you're watching this kind of evolving story over the course of 4 different games. But if you're really looking to this to play a little bit lighter, you could or might want to consider just getting episodes 3 and 4 and not worrying about 1 and 2. There are also some kind of interesting things that they're doing within this campaign with a component box, because some of the components are shared between episodes 1 and 2 and episodes 3 and 4. And so there's not like a big box for everything, because this is already a big game to begin with. Like, each set of episodes are big on their own. But they do have an option for an item called a shared component box, so you could put everything in there that you use across all the different games, and that way you don't have to go hunting for those components when you're playing just 1 and 2 or just 3 and 4. You don't have to go hunting through the other boxes, and I think that's a really interesting storage solution. So let's go down a little bit further and take a look at these. We've got these pledge levels here. The first one is this one, this Perseverance Castaway Chronicles episodes 3 and 4 expansion edition. And this is a little cheaper than the standalone edition. And the reason for this is because they're going to have some components in the standalone edition that won't be included in the expansion, because the expansion is kind of targeted for people who already have the first 2 episodes. And so if you have those, you have some of the components in those that you'll be using in 3 and 4, you can just share the components. So this edition has less components in it because you're going to be using things from episode to episode. So this is only a $136 pledge with $31 in shipping for $167 total. But if you want everything in its own box, kind of 2 copies of some of the components, or if you're just pledging for 3 and 4, then what you want is this standalone edition. So this is $169, $36 in shipping. It's a little heavier, right? There's some more things in this. So it's $205 total. And then we have 2 more pledges. And these include the episodes 1 and 2 stuff, as well as this Chronicle expansion, and this is what you can use to kind of make this into a structured campaign. And there are, again, 2 versions here. There is the expansion all-in, so in this pledge, you'll be getting the expansion version of 3 and 4, which doesn't duplicate some of the components from 1 and 2, but you're also going to be getting 1 and 2 in this pledge, so you don't really need that. This is $327 with $44 in shipping, $373 total. And if you really just want, kind of components in both boxes that are, some of them are duplicated because you don't want to have to go and hunt through one box for components for the other 2 episodes, you can just get this more expensive version, which has everything in each box. It's a $360 pledge, $49 in shipping, $409 total. Now, if we go down here to the add-ons, we see that you can also purchase on its own as an add-on episodes 1 and 2. It's the 2nd edition now, $164 as an add-on. There is also this Chronicle mode expansion, so unless you're getting the kind of 2 bundles, you wouldn't be getting these. So if you're just pledging for 3 and 4 and you already have 1 and 2, you probably want to add this on, $27 as an add-on. There's also this empty shared component box, which I think is pretty neat, because you can put all of the components in here that you're going to be using in 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and that way you can just more easily find them than having to hunt through the other 2 episode box if you're playing the 2 episodes that are in the different box. So if you just want to have this kind of storage solution, $11 as an add-on, and this is not included in any of the pledges, so this is something that you would need to add on. And then they have language packs, and these are $11 each. There's German, French, and Spanish for episodes 1 and 2. There's also German, French, and Spanish for episodes 3 and 4. So, if you're getting all versions of the game, or if you want, kind of both language packs, both for 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, you have to remember to add on both language packs. And finally, if we go into one of these pledges, I think it'll show us that Perseverance Castaway Chronicles episode 3 and 4 is planning to deliver in July of 2025. From there, we're going to go back to Kickstarter, changing the beat a little bit for a campaign called Ring of Chaos. This was also a November the 7th launch. It's going to run until December the 6th. They have $208,000 here in their coffers off of a $25,000 funding goal. That puts them at about an 8-time multiplier. So you may or may not be aware that Matthew Lillard, actor Matthew Lillard from the Scooby-Doo movies, the Scream movies, maybe actually the best thing about the most recent Twin Peaks reboot or sequel, he is a huge Dungeons and Dragons fan and player. And he started a company with 4 friends of his, and they've been producing Dungeons and Dragons type content for a while now. This is the first time that they've actually produced a board game. So the name of that company is Beetle and Grimm's, which is named after 2 of their old Dungeons and Dragons characters from back in the day. And the 5 of them, including Matthew Lillard, are designers on this new board game. And this is a first for them as designers of a board game. It's also the first board game being published by Beetle and Grimm's. I still think it's not really worth worrying about the risk on this because Beetle and Grimm's is a known entity, and not that Matthew Lillard is never going to take the money and run, but I don't think he's going to. If anything bad were to happen with this campaign, I think Lillard has the funds to make it right. So I'm not too worried about risk on this campaign. Now, this is a King of the Hill hot potato style card fighter with variable player powers. And what's the player count on this? I think it's actually pretty high. Okay, so it plays 3 to 6 players, which is something that I think you should be aware of. You're not going to be able to play this at a 2-player count. So just know this is for 3 to 6 players. So we're going to take a look at the video here. It's a couple minutes long, and then we'll look at the 3 pledges and the add-ons. I think all the add-ons, though, are swag merch. So the game stuff, I think, is in the 3 pledges. But let's take a look at the video, and then we'll look at the pledges and add-ons.
My name is Matthew Lillard. I am one of the co-owners of Beetle and Grimm's, and I always say the best way to spend a life is around a table with your dearest friends. And how do you make that happen? Well, first you need a table. We don't make a table. And you also need chairs. I don't know why you would have chairs if you don't have a table. We don't really make chairs. Hey guys, we don't make chairs. I don't know why I'm saying. How else do you bring people together? How about a game? How about an exciting game? How about a game that's fun for RPG players and board game players and card game players? A game that is super easy to learn and incredibly satisfying to master. A game like this one. Welcome to Ring of Chaos, the very first game designed by your friends at Beetle and Grimm's. Here's the story. An all-powerful artifact, the Ring of Chaos, has been unearthed in an ancient temple. Adventurers from all over the world, heroes and villains, men and monsters, descend on the temple to try and claim this newfound power for their own. As a player, you will select a party of 4 adventurers questing for the ring. Each of these adventurers gives you access to special cards and powers. Keep them alive and your party will be mighty. Let them perish and you get progressively more vulnerable to attacks. Get the ring, and then hold on to it for long enough to summon the powerful gods of chaos to do your bidding, or fight the competitors until there's no one left to challenge you. Ring of Chaos is simple mechanics, but is packed with strategy. With multiple ways to win, it's fast-paced, competitive, and seriously fun. We at Beetle Grimm's are so incredibly proud of Ring of Chaos. It's our first completely original game, so please support us and buy our product because it's an awesome game. Also, after that, you should consider buying a table because it's time.
All right, Matthew Lillard. Let's look at what you've got for us in terms of pledges. There is the Ring of the Chaos game. This is a $39 pledge, $15 in shipping, $54 total. There is also the Platinum Edition of the game. $89, $15 shipping, $104 total. So what's different between these two versions, you ask? Well, let's look. Okay, the Platinum Edition of Ring of Chaos includes a box design incorporating all 32 heroes from the game, 2 sets of 8 Sundrop minis. This is probably where a lot of the cost comes from. Both maps from the Standard Edition, but printed larger and mounted on game board. 2 additional battle maps requiring new tactics and strategies, also on a game board. And then hero cards are going to have a spot UV effect. So there's 2 different versions of the game. One that has the kind of Sundrop minis and some extra maps, and all the maps are mounted on game board, and the other one that doesn't. And then they have one final pledge here. This is $109, Share the Chaos Chaotic Combo, and in this you're getting both versions of the game. I'm not sure why you'd want both versions of the game, but you can do that. Now, unfortunately, they didn't provide a shipping estimate for this pledge level. They just said it's going to be more. I'm going to, instead of just doubling the $15 shipping estimate, I'm going to reduce it a little bit to $25. So we'll say that this is a $109 pledge with a guesstimated $25 in shipping for $134 total. Now, there are some add-ons, but they're not really gameplay related. If you are getting the Platinum Edition only, you can get it autographed by all 5 designers, including Matthew Lillard, for $100 extra. They're only doing 500 of these, and it's only for the Platinum Edition. There's also a Pin of Chaos, and this is being included for free to people who were, I think, early followers or backers, early bird backers. But if you didn't achieve that, you can add this on for $20. And then they've got t-shirts and hats, and the t-shirts are $20. The hats are $25, and they have notations in both saying that there's no additional shipping for the hats or the t-shirts. So any shipping for either of those 2 products is already baked into the cost itself. Whereas, there's not going to be more shipping for a pin or an autograph either. So your shipping should be whatever it's been estimated at, and you shouldn't have to pay extra shipping for any of the add-ons. And then finally, Matthew Lillard is going to deliver Ring of Chaos to your door personally, probably not, in August of 2024. And after that, we're going back to Gamefound for the final time for Stars of Akarios 1.5 plus new content. Now, this was also November the 7th launch. This campaign is going to be running until November the 24th. And they have $472,000 right now. That makes them the richest campaign of the week. And based on a $50,000 funding goal, they're at about 9 times that funding goal. So if we want to go over and look at the original game on Board Game Geek, let's do that. It was delivered in 2022. It has an 8.2 rating, which is pretty solid, I think. And the complexity is a 2.88, which is into the medium-heavy range. This is also for 1 to 4 players, and the community says that it's best at 1, so maybe it's best as a solo game, but you can play it up to 4 players. And they say down here, they state that this is a narrative-driven cooperative campaign game. Kind of like a dungeon crawler set in space, but they don't actually list it as a dungeon crawler. So that's kind of interesting, right? What else can I tell you? It's designed by Brendan McCaskill and Jonathan Thwaites, who both worked on Battle Bears and Last One Standing. Brendan also designed Mythwind, and then Games, who is publishing this, have published all of those games, and they also published Stone Saga. And they've got some additional stuff that they're doing in this, some kind of new expansions throughout this. Okay, so we've got a 1.5 minute video that we're going to look at, not the one with Rado, but this intro video. And then when we come back from that, we'll look at I believe it's 6 different pledges, as well as a bunch of add-ons. Now, I know Efka, at no pun included, has talked about this being a lot like Gloomhaven in space, and also the Seventh Continent, based on some of the exploration and how that works. He doesn't have the highest opinion of it. I think he thinks they've bit off more than they can chew, but certainly there are a lot of people that like the game, since it's very well rated over on Board Game Geek. But I think his comment about it being, having mechanics in common with both Gloomhaven and Seventh Continent is worth noting. Okay, so let's look at the pledges here. We've got the first one here, this Everything New gameplay. It's a $100 pledge, $10 shipping, $110 total. If we click on this, we can see that this is coming with an upgrade pack, 1.5 upgrade pack. So this is really for people who already have the original game and they're trying to get the new stuff, which is going to be Drones of Akarios and Battles of Akarios. Let me see if I click on these. So Drones of Akarios is a gameplay expansion introducing all new drone mechanics and a standalone story. And Battles of Akarios is a brand new expansion introducing one-off space combat gameplay scenarios. And then that upgrade pack as well. So this is for people who already have the original version. This will give them some new stuff as well as the upgrade. The next pledge is the standard pledge. This is for somebody who doesn't have the game at all and they're looking to start simple just with the base game. It's going to be the new version of the base game. It's a $130 pledge with $30 shipping, $160 total. But all you're getting with this pledge is that new version of the base game. So none of the other things that are new to this campaign. If we go down to Everything New, which is a $160 pledge, also has $30 shipping, $190 total, is going to give you everything that was in that first pledge, the upgrade pack, Battles of Akarios, and Drones of Akarios. But you're getting one more thing with this. You are getting Terrain of Akarios. Terrain of Akarios transforms the space combat of stars with 24 detailed terrain miniatures. And that's a look at what you're going to be getting with that. So it's just terrain miniatures. But that takes your pledge from the first one, Everything New gameplay, which was $110 total with shipping, to $190 with shipping. So it's an extra $80 for that terrain. Okay, let's go back up to the gameplay pledge. This is a $200 pledge. This is giving you Drones of Akarios and Battles of Akarios. No terrain for this one. And it's giving you the whole new base game. So this is kind of like the original pledge, but this is for somebody who does not have the game at all. So instead of the upgrade pack, they're getting a new version of the core game 1.5. It's a $200 pledge, $35 in shipping, $235 total. The ultimate pledge here is basically that same pledge, but just with the terrain box added in again. So this is a $310 pledge, $40 shipping, $350 total, and this is going to include Battles of Akarios, Drones, Terrain, and the new 1.5 version of the base game. Finally, we've got this all-in pledge. This is $370 with $40 in shipping, $410 total. This is going to add in 3 kind of non-gameplay related items, a neoprene mat, an art book, and a journal. The journal is just kind of leather bound. It's got blank pages in it so you can keep notes on the game in a format that is kind of like designed to look like the game. So it's not just some generic notepad that you're using. Now, if we go over here to add-ons, we have the prices for some things separately. So the upgrade pack here is $40 as an add-on. Drones is $40 as an add-on. Battles is $35 as an add-on. That terrain pack, $65 as an add-on. And then there's something here that wasn't included in any of the pledge levels. These are Ships of Akarios. This is $55 as an add-on. And if you want these, you will need to add this on. It's not included in any of the pledge levels. High quality miniatures for all enemies and the Stars of the Akarios core box. And this is a look at what you're getting with that. Okay? So I have to add that on if you want it. You can also add on the neoprene mat for $40, the art book for $20, the journal for $15, and then they've got some additional things. So there's this legendary upgrade pack. includes unique game-changing upgrades for the ship. This is a free gift for pre-launch followers. So if you were following this campaign before it went live, you're getting this for free. If you weren't and you still want it, you can add it on for $6. If you think you might want extra ship stands, you can add these on for $7. And then finally, there's this Charis ship. So the Charis ship is included in the 1.5 core box. So if you're getting the new version of the game, you do not need to add this on, but it is for those who did not receive it in the 1.0 campaign. So if you have the original version of the game, you didn't get this at that time, you can add it on now for $5. That's everything. It's a lot, but that is everything. And if we look over here, we can see that this new version of Stars of Akarios is planning to deliver in October of 2024. From there, we go back to Kickstarter for the new game by Elizabeth Hargrave and Mark Wooten. Elizabeth Hargrave is the designer of Wingspan. She's also done the Fox Experiment, which is about to deliver, as well as Mariposas and Tussie Mussy. And then Mark Wooten is probably best known for Doomtown and various Thunderstone games. The art on here is by Beth Sobel, who's worked with Elizabeth Hargrave before. She's one of the artists on Wingspan. She's also done the art for Arboretum, Calico, Cascadia, and Viticulture. And it's being published by AEG, who are best known for Calico, Cascadia, Istanbul, Space Base, and War Chest. So this is a worker placement game. It's got tile placement. It's got some pick up and deliver to it. And the word on the street that I've heard is that this may be her best game yet. Better than Wingspan. And it's for 1 to 4 players, so it does have solo in it. This campaign, like everything else that we're talking about in this back half of the video, was a November 7th launch, and it's going to be running for quite a while until December the 8th. So you do have a good amount of time to look at this and decide if this is something that you want. It's got $191,000. They're doing really well off of a $10,000 funding goal. That is a 19-time multiplier there. So we're going to take a look at this video. It's a little bit longer, but it does have some chat with the designers, which is pretty cool. So you get to hear them talk about their design and their game. And then we'll look at the 2 pledge levels that are available for this, as well as 1 add-on.
I'm Elizabeth Hargrave. I'm a game designer. I live outside of Washington, D.C.
I am Mark Wooten. I am a game designer and developer with AEG. And I live on Vancouver Island in beautiful British Columbia.
Undergrove is a game about the fact that trees trade resources underground with mushrooms.
We worked on Undergrove partly because for 300 million years, this process where trees and mushrooms have existed symbiotically has been going on, and so many people don't know about it. And we thought it was a great opportunity to have some fun learning about it.
Also, we just wanted to make a game together.
That's true. We did just want to make a game together too.
For over 300 billion years, trees have traded with fungi in an underground symbiotic relationship known as mycorrhizas. Undergrove is an area control engine building shared tableau game for 1 to 4 players about this relationship by Elizabeth Hargrave and Mark Wooten. Trees offer some of the carbon they photosynthesize in exchange for nutrients that the fungi extract from the soil. Scientists continue to make new discoveries about this hidden world, including hints that some of the carbon may go through the fungal network and into trees' seedlings. In this game, you will play a mature Douglas fir tree in the Pacific Northwest of North America. Your goal is to establish seedlings and help them successfully grow into trees. Each time your seedlings absorb carbon, your progress is tracked on the carbon track, where you earn rewards. On your turn, choose 1 of 5 actions from your player board and keep the public goals in mind as they change every game, creating a new experience each time you play. At the end of the game, the player who has grown the best set of seedlings with the most valuable symbiotic relationships will win. Back today and get the special Mycologist edition with upgraded components and the Whispering Woods expansion included with all stretch goals. Even the cardboard mushroom tiles are upgraded to wood. Thank you, and we hope you enjoy learning about the secret relationship between the fungi and the trees of the forest through the deep and strategic gameplay. Undergrove now on Kickstarter.
It's such a good story. The story of the game is so good, and so many people, I think, don't know about it. It just seemed a great thing to do as a subject for a game.
I've been a mushroom forager for more than 20 years, and just really fascinated by the ecology. I think a lot of people who get into mushrooms start out either from foraging or, there's several different angles that people come from. But then if you get hooked, it's really just like this amazingly diverse world to learn about, and the way that the symbioses work and just the whole ecology of it is so fascinating to me, and is so fundamental to life on Earth. Like, most plants have relationships with mushrooms that help them thrive, and it's something that's just like happening invisibly all around us, and you would never know.
I think actually what I would like people to get out of nature or experiencing nature for our game is that having played the game, they go out and experience nature. That would be one of my things, is that it stimulates people to actually go out and enjoy, what we're enjoying here on Vancouver Island.
All right. So, as they were saying, there are two versions of this game. There's these standard editions. This is what's going to retail. This is $39, $13 with shipping, $52 total. And this does come with the Whispering Woods micro expansion. But this version is a lot of cardboard. So this is the standard edition here. You can see that everything, the tokens, and there's a lot of them. All this stuff, everything is really cardboard in this. There are some wooden things, but a lot of cardboard. If you want to pledge the Mycolist edition, which is the deluxe version, everything's upgraded to wood. And there's a lot. There's the seedling tokens, these root tokens, activation tokens, tree tokens, all of these discs and squares. These are all wood. The bonus tiles, even the tiles here, these big board tiles, these are going to be wood instead of thick cardboard in that edition. And the Whispering Woods, I believe, is upgraded as well. Yeah, it's all wood as well. So it's a lot of wood upgrades. This is a $69 pledge for this version, $14 in shipping, $83 total. It's essentially like the deluxe version of the game. And then there is one add-on. That's just showing you the Whispering Woods micro expansion. There is one add-on down here, which is here, mushroom tile holders. 4 wooden stands, 1 for each player to hold their mushroom tiles while playing. And that is $20 as an add-on, and that's not included in either version. So if this is something you want, you do need to add that onto your pledge. And then finally, Undergrove is going to deliver, hopefully, in November 2024. That brings us to our final campaign of the video for Válka. Again, a November the 7th launch. The campaign is going to run until November the 21st. It's funded, $22,000 in funding off of a $12,000 funding goal, so it's about double the funding goal. And this is the first published game by Brooke Penrose as a designer. He's also done some work as an artist on The Cursed Menagerie. And this game, he is the artist and the designer. And he has another game that he's working on as both artist and designer that he's probably self-publishing called Pit Bash. Now, this game is being published by Terrible Games. They, in the past, have done Black Mold and Token Terror's Battlegrounds. And I remember watching the campaign for Black Mold on Kickstarter about a year ago and being pretty impressed by it. So this is a card battler for 1 to 8 players. We're going to take a look at the 2-minute video here, and then we'll come back and we'll look at the only pledge and a couple of add-ons.
A savage, post-apocalyptic fantasy realm brimming with 42 unique fighters, ready to enter the fray and battle for the survival and glory of their warband. Strategically set your formations, bolster your fighters with buffs, ambush your enemies with events, then attack. But time your strikes with caution. When the front line falls, the back line rushes in. And if all fighters are from the same warband, their devastational warband boom will trigger. Make calculated strikes, defeat powerful enemies, claim infamy, and reign victorious. Válka promises a casual and visually striking experience with a fair but fun level of strategy in a card game that breaks all the rules. No action points, no card costs, no hand limit. Join the fray today.
Hi, I'm Brooke, the creator of Válka. I wanted to thank you all for getting involved in the Kickstarter. I'm really excited for everyone to get a hold of this game and to have as much fun with it as I've had making it. Válka's been a passion project of mine for the last few years, and it's so exciting to see this come into the real world and to turn into something that you guys can play and share with your friends.
Okay, so there's one version here that's available through this campaign. That is the Kickstarter edition. And you are getting some extra stuff in this, everything they kind of showed in that video. There is a 20 card gift pack, the Warband Familiars booster pack, and the Lone Quest solo game. So there's the ability with that solo game to play solo, and then otherwise you're playing it, kind of multiplayer. And this is a $29 pledge. It comes with all of those extras, $14 in shipping, $43 total. And that's it. Now, if we go down a little bit further, there are a couple of add-ons. Let's see, here they are. So for $5, you can get the STL files to print these miniatures yourself, Jack, Crack, and Arunga. It's not the miniatures, right? Just the files to print them on your own. So $5 as an add-on. Won't include shipping because there's nothing more that's coming in the box. You're just printing them at home. And then they've got this OST cassette because a lot of the people behind Terrible Games are also musicians. And so they've created this soundtrack for the game. This is $14 as an add-on. But I think they say it's limited to 100 copies. So if this is something that you want, you should pledge soon and add this on soon before they go over those 100 copies. Just out of curiosity, let's see. They've got 700 backers. So if people have already added those on, it's possible that they're gone, but I don't know. I would, if it's something you want, back it and then try. And if you're late for that, maybe send them a message. But that is everything for Válka, and this project's going to deliver in May of 2024. So that wraps the video. I'd just like to say thank you for watching, and if you'd like to help support the channel, the best way to do that is to like and subscribe. And also subscribing will keep you looped in so that as I launch more types of content like the teaching the review videos and live streaming games, you'll be notified for that. Now, before I wrap the video, I would like to talk about the new arrivals this period. These are games that are really primed for me to make new content for. Some of these are, kind of older things that I'm getting for the first time, but most of these are new publications. So if this is something that you'd like to see more about, if you'd like me to produce a teach and review video for it or live stream it, let me know in the comments. So this period, the games include Ark Nova Marine Worlds. I've been playing a lot of Ark Nova in the last few months, and I'm very excited about the new expansion for that. I also picked up, this was a Kickstarter now, Dead Reckoning Letters to Mark, or Letters of Mark, which is the third saga in the Dead Reckoning series. And that's a game that I definitely like to live stream and kind of play through with an audience. I also got in the new Great Western Trail Argentina. I think that completes my collection of Great Western Trail games. Now I have to decide if I actually want to keep New Zealand or Argentina or both. I got in the newest Undaunted, Battle of Britain, and I think those are amazing war games for 2 players, and I'm always looking forward to new Undaunted stuff. And then finally, I got in a pre-order of Wild Tiled West. That's the new tile placement game and some other things from the designers and publishers of Clank and Dune Imperium. So I'm really interested to get that one to the table. I know it's a lighter game. It's probably more in the vein of Clank than Dune Imperium, and I think it's probably like a medium light complexity, and I think it's aimed a little bit more at kind of families and casual gamers. But I like Direwolf, the publisher. I like Paul Dennen, the designer, so I'm really interested to take a look at Wild Tiled West. And then, moving forward to next week's video, there's nothing that's launched so far that I want to include in that video. I do have a few games that I know are going to be launching over the course of the next week. Those include the new kind of luxury version of Food Chain Magnet from Lucky Duck Games, so I'll definitely be covering that. I'll also be covering Deceased, which is from Simon, and you know, they've done Marvel Zombies. Well, now they're doing DC Zombies, and they're calling it Deceased. And then lastly, Silverbow Games has a game called Wish, which is likely that I'll end up covering that. So those 3 games will probably make the next video, and beyond that, we'll just have to take a look and see what launches that I don't already know about. Have a great week, play lots of great games, take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one.